All right.
With just one question, these RMs will be part of the priority banking.
Uh,
What is their profile like? Are they fresh graduates who have just joined in a bank,
they would
or
have
they
a year
have
or two as
experience?
industry experience.
So
They
they
would,
are experienced guys who already understand the banking business, stuff like that. Is that
yes,
what you're talking about? All
yes.
right.
So
Okay.
they might be new to Axis Bank. Many a times there is a possibility that they
Yeah.
have, grown within the system.
Hmm. But they're
So
not
maybe
new to
there's
banking.
been
They're
a
not
role
new to
a
banking.
change. They would
They're
not
not
be
new to
new to
banking.
banking. They are
Okay.
not
ठीक
new
है.
to banking, but yes, to Axis Bank possibly, because these are people who have been taken from,
Lateral
from a
hires.
corporate,
Okay.
yeah,
All
lateral
right.
hiring.
Fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. Got it.
yeah. So this is what the agenda is, that relationship managers would be the key facilitators of business. And here we need to stress that while they have been given a map book, they also need to understand that a lot of focus and expectation is on acquisition. Because if once we look into the KRAs in detail, we will find that acquisition is something that will help them maximize their incentives. And in case if they fail on the acquisition piece, there is a possibility that they will not make their incentives as well. So today, not only is managing the book important, but they would also need to understand that acquiring business is also very, very key, important function for them. Apart from them, as the slide says, they need to make sure that they handle the map book well. They understand the customers that are mapped to them. They constantly engage with them. And to facilitate that process, we have different applications, one of which is Siddhi, and they have a triumph rhythm that they need to follow in terms of how many customer connects they do in a day, how is it that they engage with the customer. There's a lot of pre-call preparation that they need to do, all those which we'll be covering as the modules come in. So today, for the purpose of understanding what is it that they've been hired for, they've been hired to bring in fresh business, at the same time manage the book that has been allotted to them. So increasing the market share, enhancing the bank's profitability, and build long-term relationships is what the agenda is. Today, when we talk about relationship managers, this is an idea of how the products have been lined for the customers. So you have the basic accounts, you have the prime easy accounts. The next higher version is the prestige accounts, which require balances of 1 lakh and above. You have the priority accounts with 2 lakhs and above. And over and above that, we have Burgundy requiring a balance of 5 lakh and the private banking. So that is how the hierarchy of the different types of accounts in the bank have been arranged. When we talk about the type of customers that would be coming or that these kind of RMs would be handling, the customer pyramid talks about what would be the type of customers that they will be interacting with. So primarily, they will be interacting with salaried class. They will be interacting with professionals like doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants. They will be having a lot of senior citizens as well in their portfolios. They might have businessmen in their portfolio. So it's a diverse group of people, and they would need to interact with each and every category of these customers, knowing that they are also being targeted by competition banks purely because they are affluent customer base. And because of that, we would want to make sure the agenda of the senior management or the team in Axis is every RM should strive for at least holding 70% of the customer's liability book with Axis Bank. And that is what we are hoping for. So every RM interacts with a set of customers, and these customers by default have accounts with competition banks in such kind of parallel variants. But the aim of the RM should be that at least 70% of the customers' relationship should be, that is, the highest wallet share should be held with Axis Bank. And for that, we would want to present ourselves well. We would want to present and showcase our proposition well to the customer so that the customer gets interested and takes the product from us. They also have a lot of cross-sell targets on them. And that also needs to be driven home. So it's not just the account that they are selling, but they also have to do cross-sell very well for them to achieve their KRAs. The role of a relationship manager, primarily, if we
Vidya,
were to bring in, yeah.
Sorry, have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
in the last two slides, slide number 2, where you have shown that pyramid.
Yes,
Yeah. So this SA balance is MAB.
quarterly average balance.
It is QAB.
Yeah.
Okay. And it is not total relationship value. It is purely the balance maintained in saving account.
We will be looking at the priority proposition in detail where the customer can pick and choose how he wants to maintain the balance. So when we do that module, you will be able to figure out in what way the customer can be onboarded into the priority program.
Okay, and the next slide. Um,
Yes.
okay, so here it is. So it is 10,000 AMB, 25,000 AMB.
Those are
And
the lower variants. The one that is
okay,
highlighted is the one that we are talking about.
okay, in higher variants, they are looking for AQB. In lower variants, AMB, right?
It
Okay.
depends
Mm-hmm.
because we also have a prestige variant which has a 75 AQB. So depending upon the type of variant, the composition or the requirement of the account changes.
Okay.
And that applies not only
This
to the SARC variants, but also to the current account variants as well.
yeah, this mentions 2 lakhs savings account annual annual
Average quarterly
balance.
balance. Average
Average
quarterly
quarterly
balance.
balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Got it.
Yeah. All right. So this is what they say is the primary core function of a relationship manager, starting with acquisition. The focus on acquisition because your existing book of customers are there with the bank for some time now. And here the terminology of ETB and NTB comes into place, where ETB is the book that they handle, that is existing to bank, and NTB is new to bank. So for a RM, an NTB account would be an account that has been opened in this financial year, that is April onwards. So whenever an RM takes over a portfolio, he will have a mix of ETB customers. ETB customers are those who are holding accounts, even in the previous year. So any account that was there as on 31st March will be considered as an ETB account, and any account that has been opened in this financial year will be considered as an NTB account. So today, when we talk about a relationship manager, your portfolio will have a mix of both ETB and NTB accounts, and he needs to service those accounts, needs to engage with these customers, depending upon the potential, depending upon the relationship value of the customer. The engagement differs from customers to customer. For example, if I have a customer who is keeping really high balances, the time or the frequency that I meet with the customer is higher as compared to maybe someone who just maintains a balance of 2 lakh in his savings account. So we will be coming to that as well. So that's why one of the key areas for a relationship manager is acquisition, because maybe the ETB book has been serviced by RMs in the past, has been engaged with people in the past, and in terms of opportunities for cross-sell and business opportunities may be comparatively lower as compared to maybe the new accounts that you bring in or the accounts that have been recently opened. So acquisition becoming a core area, enhance the business at any given point in time. The performance of an RM is checked basis how much he has been able to grow the portfolio that has been allotted to him. So month on month, RMs are tracking their books, wanting to see that there is a growth in the portfolio, and how can they enhance the business? They can enhance by engaging with the customers, identifying their needs, cross-selling the products of the bank. We also would want to make sure that every relationship deepens. It starts with a customer, but I would want the opportunity to reach out to his inner circle, which could be his friends, family members, relatives, acquaintances, friends. So we would want to make sure that we actively deepen every relationship, and that also is one of their KRAs, where every relationship needs to have a deepening scene in terms of we have we source the accounts of family members and so on. So that is the deepening aspect. We would also want to make sure that we ring fence the customer in terms of the relationship, because the more sticky products that we onboard the customer to, greater are the chances that the customer will not leave us and move to a competition bank. So we would want to, cross-sell those products. It could be a loan products, it could be a credit card, or things like that, which will, keep the relationship with the bank, between the customer and the bank, for a longer time. Retention is something that they need to be aware of, because that is the fact of the day, that customers will keep churning. There would be customers who would move out, and unless they are able to hold on to those balances, they would need to make sure that they need to have those alternatives, because it is very easy to lose an account, but sourcing an account of that equal quality would become equally difficult. So it must be in their best interest to ensure that all the accounts that are mapped to them or given to them are retained. And for that, again, engagement is the key. Addressing the customer complaints and grievances is something that they would want to take in effectively. So throughout the training program, you will see we are covering different modules, and all these things, we will be giving them paths, we will be giving them tools, how they can do each of these activities better. To have an idea of the hierarchy of the priority banking channel, this is,
Vidya, just one question. Are
yes.
the RMs also going to be tracked by the profitability of their portfolio, or is it just growing the book in terms of numbers?
No, what was the question? They are, of course, going to be tracked in terms of the balances that their books are maintaining.
Yeah, yeah, I know that. But are they going to be also additionally tracked on the whether the portfolio is profitable or not? I mean, the growth, there's a growth in profit also.
Yes, yes.
Account profit. I'm talking about account profitability.
Yes, because at the end of the day, every account in their book needs to maintain the true value. When we say the true value, it is the eligibility. Today, what happens is, as a account holder, you are not being penalized. For example, I open Sundar's account, and Sundar opens an account with 2 lakh. At the end of the day, at the end of the quarter, if Sundar doesn't maintain the 2 lakh balance, it doesn't mean that I'm going to charge him any kind of average quarterly balances, which would get charged by other, the minimum non-maintenance of charges, jo charges lagta hai, that does not get applicable to the priority scheme. So we would want to make sure that every RM understands that you need to onboard the right set of customers who will maintain the eligibility of the proposition, which means even though you're not being charged, we would want those balances to increase. And that is being tracked at an account level also. It is being tracked as a portfolio level also. Does that answer, Sundar?
Yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, logically, when the balances increase, I mean, the profitability should also, get aligned to it. So it's fine. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, Axis has one of the best tracking mechanisms across the industry in terms of how RMs themselves can track their portfolio performance. At the same time, they get a lot of inputs and MISs from the team saying that, how is it that each of their customer portfolios are behaving, and there is a detailed interactive feedback that happens between the RM and the supervisor on a daily basis on the customers that are tagged to them.
All right.
All right. Yeah. So this is the hierarchy of the priority banking channel. So depending upon the bank, depending upon the branch that you are allotted, you might have maybe an individual relationship manager as a priority relationship manager, or you might be having a couple of relationship managers. In some branches, there could be a senior PBRM. All of them, depending upon, like I said, depending upon the strength and the location and the size of the branch, there could be a branch relationship head who can be handling a team of relationship managers. If it's a small branch, maybe a relationship manager will directly report into the branch head. So that is how it works, flexible depending upon the location, depending upon the size of the branch. So you have PBRMs reporting in either to a branch relationship head or directly to a branch manager. But the branch manager in turn reports into a cluster head who reports to a circle head, and the regional branch banking head is the person who's heading the priority banking channel. So that's how the vertical has been designed. In terms of the account, every relationship manager, priority relationship manager, also gets eligible to open a staff account, which is a priority staff account. So what Access believes is whatever benefits the customers enjoy, the staff also should be in a position to explore and enjoy the same benefits, so that he in turn, once I have experienced myself the benefits, I'm in a better position to showcase and share it with the customer. So that is what we are talking about here, where the staff accounts are priority staff accounts for the customer, for the relationship manager. And that is what we are offering to the RMs. In terms of career progression, depending
Vidya,
upon which scale, yeah,
Vidya,
Shashwati.
regarding that, regarding the accounts being priority staff accounts, my early experience was that many of them said that, even after a month or two, it was not upgraded.
Yeah.
What do they do in such cases in case it's
It
have a problem?
automatically gets upgraded. So it doesn't happen that, let's say, if I've joined the bank today, my
Right.
account automatically immediately might get converted into a priority account. So there are systematic upgrades that happen throughout the year, not only for the staff, but also for customers. So
Right.
as and when those upgrades happen, automatically their accounts would get upgraded to a priority account. Nonetheless, every RM who's working for the priority channel, his account would get upgraded into a priority account.
Yeah. So in case it is not, shall we ask them to speak to their branch managers?
Yes, they can,
Okay.
but
fine.
they need not get into that, is what I'm saying. By
Okay, fine.
default,
Take
the
it.
system upgrades would happen. Sometimes it could happen that maybe, the quarter has just got over and the upgrades have happened, and then I have joined in. So maybe I need to wait till the end of the next quarter, or when the
Oh,
next run is
okay.
happening. So like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any special benefits do they get by having a priority staff account in terms of financial benefits, like a discounted rate, or better cash back? I don't know. I mean, what are the benefits that come along with the priority staff
So
account?
when we look
They
into
might
the
ask this
priority
question.
proposition, you will be able to have an idea of what are the benefits they are enjoying, because what the customer enjoys is what is available for them as well. So when you go through the entire priority
Okay.
proposition program, you'll
All
see
right.
a whole host of benefits, and all those would be applicable for them as well. Can we
Okay.
park the question for
Yeah,
now?
we
Because
can.
there's
We
a
can. We
lot
can.
of
We
things
can go.
that
Go ahead.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that the RM would enjoy as a part of priority banking.
Yeah, but I
All
thought
right.
their benefits will be different than the priority customers' benefit. So if it's the
No, no,
same,
no.
then
Other
it's
than
fine.
that, other than the priority benefits, you have the normal 1% increase over the FD rates as a staff account. So
That's
those
the
would be
staff
there.
rate which they get.
And
Yeah,
even
correct.
for loans and all, because you're
Yeah,
an
there
employee,
is
you
a
might get those
right.
benefits. But here, what we're talking about is the priority benefits that the RM would enjoy.
Yeah, understood. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the career progression for the RM. Depending upon what grade he enters the bank, that is the hierarchy that will be followed by the RM. So for example, if a RM is recruited at a manager level, then senior manager, AVP, TVP, that is how the progression goes. What we would want to reiterate it is a very fair and transparent organization. And as an organization, we value people, and we will give you umpteen opportunities to grow and flourish. And that can be seen by the number of vintage people whom you will find in your branches as well. Unlike certain banks where there's a lot of movement and churning, a lot of we take great pride in the fact that you will find a lot of seniors and vintage people in Axis Bank. And the reason why they stick on is because it is an organization that helps them grow. Right? So we have a well-defined development roadmap for the RMs, and that is what we would want. And here we would also want them to see and hear from people who've been doing exceptionally well for themselves. It acts as an inspiration. These journeys would act as an inspiration for the new joinees, how they have successfully managed to transform their career paths and rise in the organization. For example, we have the story of Madhusudan Rao, the senior VP circle head at Chennai, how he started his career. And a lot of these people have started in different roles, came on to priority banking, handled it. And that is what the story of Madhusudan Rao tells us, that how he started and what have they done differently that they have risen in the organization. So you need to give it time, and you need to have a lot of hard work. It's not that things have been extremely smooth or free of challenges. Everybody has had their share of successes and failures, but this is where they are today in terms of their careers. So here we talk about Madhusudan Rao. We have a similar story from Sridevi Raghu, who's the vice president of Hyderabad main branch. Again, if you go through her story, joined the bank in 2004 in Jubilee Hills branch, and one of the first people to start off with the priority banking vertical when it was started, and the journey that how she has had to work a lot of times beyond the normal working hours, reaching out to people who are far-fetched, like, traveling 20 kilometers to meet a customer. But the connect has stayed. These are customers that are still connected to Sri Devi, still reach out to her. And, that's how the strong customer connect and the relationship manager connect is. And today, even when you hear the Axis leaders speak, that is a sentiment that echoes throughout. That when we look at customers, we are not just looking at customers as accounts, we are looking at relationships. And these relationships have stood the test of time. And, and those who have given their sweat and blood to the organization has also rewarded them appropriately by, having a very successful journey at Axis Bank. So we have stories from Sridevi Raghu, we have stories from Ajinkya Borkar, again, started as a relationship manager, went on to become a team lead, now working as a branch head. And these are people who are in the system today. So at any point in time, it's not just stories. They can always connect with these people in the system and, share those journeys and understand how Axis Bank has been, an exciting place to work for them. And if you look at the vintage also, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, a long vintage for each of these people. So in this connect, we will also have an RM, a senior RM, who will be coming over and speaking and taking us through the journey. So that is something that we keep for the first day, where we have a talk from the person as well, from a relationship manager, a senior relationship manager, who would come and share the journey. All good so far in terms of the career progression, in terms of the role clarity. Any questions?
All okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we move on to the next piece, which is the KRA and scorecard. And here this becomes critical because the entire work of the RM is focused on how he or she achieves his KRAs and in turn ends up making incentives. There's a close connect and correlation between the KRAs and scorecards, because if you manage to achieve your KRAs, you will by default end up making incentives. And you cannot make incentives if you have not achieved your KRA. So as simple as that. So we start the KRA discussion by asking them, do you understand what your KRAs are? What are the key responsibility areas? How it is important to them? Maybe you've been in the system. Sometimes, they are not sure. A lot of the RMs who end up making incentives are the people who work smart, who understand the nitty-gritties, who understand what are the do's and don'ts in terms of your KRA. So sometimes, because of lack of understanding, we realize that even after doing so much, putting in so much efforts, we are not making incentives. So you need to understand the KRAs very, very well for you to make incentives. So that is what we would want to understand. Similarly, tomorrow at the end of the day, when you want to look at your career progression, when you want to look at your career journeys, you will be able to work on it better if you are working in sync and in the direction, and your goals and vision are also aligned with the organizational vision and goal of the for the RM. So it facilitates a clear path and direction for the RM. So today, if you were to see, there are different tools in which they can access their KRAs and see where they stand. So this is the tool that we are talking about, which is SAS. SAS is an application which is purely an MIS application, where they will be able to log in and they will be able to access their KRAs. So we will also share with them the KRA document which is available. So the KRA document will be shared to all the participants, but at the same time, in case if they want to access what the numbers are, what the figures are, this is the application that they need to access, which is SAS. And the path that they will have to use is go to ABR, which is Access Business Reports. Click on the tab ABR, it will take you to Affluent Reports, and click on Affluent Reports, it will take you to the RM dashboard. And here they will be able to see what their KRAs are with respect to the various parameters that they have to achieve and the numbers that they need to achieve. So for example, there are some screenshots that have been aligned. For example, if they have to achieve their fee income, or what is the ETB MDAP that the customer is maintaining in their accounts, or what is the number of accounts that they have sourced for a quarter, for a year, or YTD. So all those details break up available in this application. And today, for every product that they cross sell, there are some points attached. So today, if I want to figure out what is the point that I make on a mutual fund, vis-a-vis what is the points that I would get on a LI or a GI. So you have another application called Branch Analytics. And under Branch Analytics, if you go to the Sampark tab, you will be able to see what are the points that are there. It will also show you how much have you achieved, what are the things that are still under process, what is the point count as on today. So those are things that you'll have. When we have the detailed IT sessions for each of these modules, maybe it will be a little more clearer for each one of you all. But just putting it out there that they have multiple applications, and whatever is the information that an RM searches is easily available at his or her own fingertips. They need not go or look forward outside, but they have it within their own tools to give that information. At any point in time, if there is, let's say, an issue, let's say I did a business which is not reflecting in the MIs, I also have a Unidesk application wherein I can raise a query and get a clarification as to why that particular business credit has not come to me. So that's why understanding the KRAs becomes very important, because there are a lot of finer points that they need to understand for the right business credit to come. Sometimes they may feel that they have done it and they are expecting certain business credit, but it doesn't come their way. So they should know why it has not come, so on and so forth. So that is the application called Unidesk. Uh, Another very important application again is the branch analytics, because under branch analytics, I have something called as the incentive calculator. Now, this again has predefined, it is aligned to your KRAs. And all I need to do is put in those figures, for example, an LI of 10 lakh sought, and it will clearly tell me, it will throw the output of what would be the incentive that I'm likely to make. So it is a simulator for the business that I'm likely to do. So RMs actively use the incentive calculator to figure out, where is it that they can stand to earn more money, and so on. So that is in terms of the incentive calculator. Here again, like I said, not every salesperson in Axis Bank has access to these kind of applications. As a priority RM, they have the privilege of something like an incentive calculator, which gives them those ready calculations, and they can decide for themselves what is the amount that is coming their way at the end of the quarter. Incentive is a quarterly cycle in Axis Bank. So every quarter they get incentives, and that is how the incentive calculator helps. We also have other snapshots from an application like a Priority Lighthouse, which tells them in a nutshell what are the kind of business figures that are reflecting against their names. For example, if I want to see how my SA balances are working. So I have the SA MDAP, which tells me what is the number of customers, what was the position as on 31st March, what is the growth, degrowth. The same applies for the TD. In terms of holdings, I have a report from which I can see. So this is Portfolio 360. That is the name of the report, where I can get detailed analysis of my portfolio. So be it in terms of the product holdings, or what is the customers trend in terms of how many of them are active on the digital channels, how many of them have gone in for investments through Axis Bank, or for LI, GI, gold, silver, as the case may be? How many of them have SIs running from us, or for that matter, do they have any kind of borrowings from us? So every whatever is the information they need, everything is available on their fingertips. And this again, like I said, are just snapshots from the portfolio 360 that can be available at in the Priority Lighthouse application. Now, before we start the KRA document and taking you through each of those KRA parameters, what we need to understand is also the terminologies that will come across in the document, in the KRA document. So these are the terminologies that they should be familiar with and understand it well. For example, ETB means existing to bank, accounts that have been in the system prior to 31st March, NTB, new to bank, MDAB, which is monthly daily average balances. So today when I see the books, I would want to make sure that every customer maintains those average balances, maintains the priority proposition. We would want, they track the balances through the MDAB balances. Today, if I want to see how many of my customers have there is an inflow, this would be the account that I will be checking through the MDAB values. What is the balances that have come into the account? What is the average that they maintain? Be it a monthly average, be it a quarterly average. We have IPG, which is the investment product group. This primarily refers to your, all the third-party products, the LIGI that you sell. You have OCS, which is your assets and credit card. All your loans and credit cards will come under OCS. RFR is retail forex and remittances, which would include your inward, outward, and your forex card, travel card business that you do. NOA refers to the number of accounts, which is your CASA account, savings and current accounts that you open. CAPPG is the current account priority banking group. That is the abbreviation here. This is the premium current account that is offered to the priority customers, the CAPPG. Again, it is a variant of the premium current account. There are multiple variants in current accounts. One such variant is the CAPPG. CRM, again, customer relationship management. So today, a lot of their information about customers is held in different applications. So you have the customer information available, let's say even in branch analytics, even in an application like Priority Lighthouse, or currently Siddhi is the new application which is currently being used. CRM is also one such application. Today, if you see any bank, any customer service industry uses an application like a CRM, which has the entire customer information stored, be it in terms of their holdings, the profile, what has been the interactions of the with the customer in the past, so on and so forth. So that is the CRM application or the tool. TRV is total relationship value. And here TRV would come into play because when we will study or when we will talk about the priority proposition, there are ways in which the customer can maintain the balances that he needs to maintain as a part of being a priority customer. So TRV is the total relationship value that we check. So not necessarily the customer needs to hold balances in the savings account only. There are options here available for the customer. So that is TRV. LG lead generated by, LC lead closed by. Here, what we need to understand is the RM's business credit is basis the LC. So as long as the lead is closed by the RM, the RM gets full credit for the same. Just by giving a lead, I will not get business credit. Business credits are always aligned to LC. So you need to ensure that lead is closed by you. So that is the importance of LG and LC. NFTR, not first time right. At Axis Bank, the philosophy is we do everything first time right. Not doing things first time right has a cost attached to the bank, has a cost time element that needs to be taken care by the RM. There is rework, there is customer escalation, all that comes into play. So we believe in doing things first time right. If you fall into NFTR, it also takes a hit on your audit scores. It also affects your performance ratings as well. So ensure and drive it to the RMs that we need to do things first time right. PPC is product per customers. Like I said, as a bank, we have a whole range of products and we would want to make sure that every customer has been onboarded to multiple products of the bank. RTD, retail term deposit, and that is the pure vanilla FDs that the RM opens for their customers. Fee income, income earned through all your alternative cross-sell third-party products. Contactability, here again, as a customer, as an RM, I will be given a portfolio. It is expected that I am engaged and connected to all my portfolio customers. And the minimum benchmark or the threshold they are looking at is 90%. I would have to have at least a 90% meeting of my customers done every quarter. So that's why contactability is important. It is also from the compliance point of view as well, that as a bank, you need to know what your customers are doing, what your customers want from the bank. We would want to ensure that customers stay connected with the bank and use the products of the bank. We also have true rate. Like I said, accounts may be open, but now the customers may or may not be transacting. They may not be maintaining those balances. So that is what true rate tells you. How many of your portfolio customers are meeting the priority banking eligibility proposition? Because over time, if we see that there is a continued trend in customers not maintaining the balances, the customers might be, realign to another variant. So there could be a possibility that they get downgraded from the priority program. So we would want to ensure that every customer maintains a true rate. Transaction banking fee is the fee or the income that the bank earns for doing the various transactions of the customer. So these are some short forms that we need to be familiar with. Any questions on the discussion so far?
Yeah, Vidya, I just need one clarification here. Uh, so as I understand, the main focus area for the priority banking RMs would be principally liabilities and, LIGI and mutual funds. And uh,
Not
do
necessarily,
they have a,
Sundar. Not necessarily. It
no,
is
good,
an
acha.
important part. But yeah, I will be now taking you to the KRA document, which will give you that clarity, how important and what is the percentages. But continue your
No,
question.
yeah, yeah. Basically, I want to know whether the asset sourcing team is a different team than priority
Yes,
banking RMs or not.
yes, there is
That's
a
what I wanted
different
to.
team. There is a different team. So today, when
So
I
you
have a
would,
loan request of
ah,
a customer, I will take my
yeah,
asset RM along with
yeah.
me
All right.
for discussions.
So you basically, as a priority banking RM, you get points for cross-selling. My
Yes,
understanding is correct?
yes,
Fine.
yes.
Okay, got it.
All right. So let me just share the KRAs, because that is something that we will be covering on day one.
Vidya, for asset
Yeah,
products, who will be considered as LC? Um, a general question in case
yeah.
participant asks.
See, what happens is asset products ke liye I give a lead and they close the lead. The team from the asset team
Yes.
will close the lead. But
So,
for your savings account, current accounts, I
hmm,
need to close the lead.
so does
So
that
let's
mean
say
that
in case of an RM, for let's say a home loan, or for that matter a business loan, even if I want to close, I don't have the I will not be able to do it unless someone from the team intervenes and takes that case forward, because these are separate channels and verticals in themselves. But
directly?
when we talk about LC and LG, it is primarily for the sourcing that I do, which is the savings and current account and for the priority account.
So will the RM get credit for that?
The RM will get credit for it as long as the LC remains on his code. So let's
Oh,
say I open a savings account. Let's say open a current account. So I have even a current account vertical, a dedicated current account vertical that helps me source current account business. So there could be a situation that I am in talks with a customer and I reach out to the current account team and they help and close the current account for me. Maybe I don't know the documentation, but in this case, what happens is the credit for the closure of the current account goes to the person who actually closes the business. Though maybe in a month down the line, the account would get mapped to me, but I don't get sourcing credit. So for sourcing of your savings account, current account, I necessarily have to be the lead closure, especially to get 100% credit. Otherwise, in let's say in case of a current account, I share the credit with that team, which means even though I may have sourced the account, just because I'm not doing the end-to-end documentation and completing the opening of the account, I get only 50% credit.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So as I understand, current account is a different vertical, asset products is a different vertical altogether,
Yeah.
and in the priority banking items, principal focus would be on liabilities and
Yes.
mutual funds and insurance, and then
Yes.
there'll be a cross-selling kind of a targets for them for asset products and current account also.
Correct.
All right, ठीक है.
So let me just explain this better by showing you the KRA. So this is the KRA that is applicable for this year. So here, if you were to look at a summary of the KRAs, this is where the weightages lie. Your liability book, your savings current account, book growth, and sourcing of new accounts total have a weightage of 47.5%. Fee income, your cross sell, your RFR, your your LIGI, your mutual funds, your loans, remittances, all that can only contribute 20% of your KRA. That's fee income. Customer engagement and cross sell has 20%. Here again, we will be looking at each of these parameters in detail. But just to give you an idea, the maximum focus is on your liability book growth. So that is where, so you might do the world of business in fee income, but at the end of the day, the contribution to your KRA would be only 20%. 80% comes from others. So you need to understand that very well, that where is it that you need to focus your energy, how much you need to focus on your energy, and what would be the gating parameters, because there are certain rules that they need to follow for them to get full credit for the same. So let's look into these individual parameters as well. So you have the first KRA1 on ETB CASA MDAP, which means your existing book, customers who were in your portfolio before 31st of March, how much book has increased for these portfolio customers. So the incremental increase is what they are checking for your portfolio customers, having a weightage of 15%. NTB book, the new customers that were added in this financial year, how much has their book increased? And here again, when we talk about the incremental or the weightage, 10% weightage on your NTB CASA MDAP, you get credit for accounts that are sourced by you, opened by you, and you also get credit for accounts that have been tagged to you. For example, I'm a salary sales executive, and I've gone to an organization and opened the accounts of juniors as well as, let's say, the MD CEO. The MD CEO's account, for example, may be a priority account that needs to be by default mapped to a priority RM. So there could be a situation that accounts are getting added onto my portfolio by people who have opened their accounts. So I may not be the sourcing team. So like that also, accounts get added to the priority RM's account. And if that is the case, then the month zero credit goes to the sourcing RM. It's only from month one, that is the following month, the incremental balance that is seen, that credit comes my way for the accounts that are mapped to me or tagged to me. So that is what we are talking about here in NTB CASA MTAP. Accounts that get opened by me and accounts those get mapped or aligned to me. Liability TD is the TD book. Here again, whatever is the existing TD book, you need to grow, and that has a weightage of 15%. NOA is the accounts that you source and open. So that has a weightage of 7.5%. Fee income, 20% comes from your IPG, OCS, and RFR. However, the hitch or the requirement being you need to achieve 80% in a minimum of two parameters. So let's say I'm comfortable with insurance. I'm well with insurance. I'm good with loans. So if I'm able to do achieve 80% of my parameters, that is good enough. But if I don't do 80% in a minimum of two parameters, then it would be a problem, because any kind of overachievement that I might have in, for example, I'm very good at insurance, which is IPG, but I'm bad at loans. I did not do anything in terms of remittances. Then I will take a hit, because the fungibility comes into place only if I've achieved a minimum of 80%. The customer engagement cross-sell parameter talks about, we talked about deepening, we talked about engagement with the customers. So when I have more and more customers grouped under family grouping means I have a vanilla savings account customer. Now I have opened the account of the wife, the children, the spouse. So that is the deepening, grouping under family. So as long as new customers are grouped, meaning I have been able to source accounts, and obviously these customers are happy customers, and that's the reason they are opening those accounts with me. So that is the grouping under family. Product penetration is how many new products has the customer taken after discussions with me, right? So that is the product penetration. New products, vanilla products that the customer has gone in for basis the RM intervention. And number of customers deepened is a count. So every quarter they get a count of this many customer accounts should have a growth in terms of a value gets allotted to them. So that is the number of customers deepening parameter. So all this has a cumulative weightage of 15%. We have insurance WPC and net mutual fund sales. So that is your insurance weighted premium count, and net mutual fund sales is what we are talking about. Now, both these parameters put together have a weightage of 5%, but the important clause here is I need to meet 100% of my insurance budgets. So as long as I meet 100% of my insurance budgets, it becomes fungible. The last is the Project Triumph, which is your quality score, which means there is a systematic, clear interaction requirement that is expected from each RM. And this we will be looking at in detail in Siddhi and Triumph session also. What it says is, as an RM, I need to have a minimum of 12 customer connects in a day, 12 customer interactions in a day. That is the basic expectation from each priority RM on a daily basis. And these 12 interactions can be over telephonic, over face-to-face conversations. So a minimum of 3 face-to-face conversations I must have. I must be in a position to generate 5 leads, and there has to be 3 conversions on a daily basis that is seen. So those are certain expectations in terms of the output that is expected from each RM. So again, notes are there, and when we'll be taking the session on Triumph, all those will be further clear. But this is the quality score, wherein how many of the RMs are meeting those benchmarks on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, which accumulates to 12.5% of their total KRA. Now here, as an RM, sorry.
Yeah, Vidya, just one question here. I'm a Priority Bank RM and I source a CEO's account. So do I need to hand over that relationship to a Burgundy RM?
It depends. If the customer is eligible for a Burgundy proposition,
No,
ideally you should.
Yeah, he will
You
be
should.
eligible. He will be
If he is
eligible.
eligible, then you should pass on the lead to the Burgundy RM and let them take it over.
Okay. Now the question is, client has opened an account. He's a priority banking profile. I deepen the relationship to such an extent that he has outgrown the priority banking profile. So
Yeah.
do you hand over the similarly? Do you hand it over to the Burgundy RM now?
Yes. Yes. So that's what
But
happens in
yeah,
a
but that
phased
but that
manner.
but that
In a
but the
regular manner,
uh,
the bank is screening all the customer accounts to check which of the customers need to be up migrated, which of the customers need to be down
hmm,
migrated.
hmm,
So
hmm.
as an RM, unless I have adequate numbers, these kind of up migration and down migrations will impact my
Yeah.
portfolio. So
Yeah,
that's the
so we
reason.
need to account,
Yeah.
we need to take into account even those factors also. Clients
Yes, you
moving
need
out of
to.
your portfolio because of the upgrade.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So here, what you're saying is the ratings are dependent on how you perform on all these various KRA parameters. So the MP++ rating is the highest rating that is available for an achievement of 115% of your KRA and above. You will land in MP plus category if your achievement is greater than 105 and less than 115. MP for a score of less than 105% and greater than 90%. EP 80 and 90 ke beech mein, and anything less than 80% would be the lowest rating, which is IP. So this is something that they need to understand, that how important is your score. And this is the idea of how your scores will come in across from various parameters. So if you were to look at each of these parameters in detail, this is how each KRA has been explained in detail. For example, your incremental
Vidya,
ETB MDAP.
sorry,
Yeah.
Vidya, what is the
Yeah.
full form of these MP and EP and IP? Do we need to tell them?
You need not, because
Okay.
these are internal nomenclature used by the HR team. But I think MP, I know for a fact, is merit pool.
Okay.
So MP plus plus would take you onto the merit pool, and that is what we would want each and every RM to aim for. Come into
Okay.
this category.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So this is the incremental ETB MDAP of your book. What needs to be understood is their budgets start from the time of portfolio allotment. So let's say if I have joined in the month of April and portfolio has got allotted in the month of May, my budgets will start from the following month, from June onwards, right? And here the idea is the concept of a base month. Base month is always the value which they will refer to when they are checking your incremental book growth. So base month is the month that gets considered. So let's say in this case where I have joined the bank in April, portfolio got allotted to me in the month of May, and from June onwards my budgets are starting. For me, the base month will be the month of April. Balances, customer balances as on the month of April, because May the portfolio got allotted to me. So the immediate preceding month balance, month end balances would be the balances that would get considered for my customer. And my end of the year appraisals or my month on month appraisals or my month on month growth in the customer accounts would be basis the balances that we see in the base month. So that is how the concept is to be understood. So that is the portfolio allocation month and the base month. The immediate preceding month becomes your base month. Now, if you were to look at the sample, so we have certain calculations for RMs to understand how the KRA logic works. Budgets are predefined for the RMs. So we have, depending upon the location, depending upon the size of the branch, budgets have been already predefined. Irrespective of when you come in, the budgets would get allocated to you. So here we have an example of an RM wherein the balances, let's say this is the table that I am referring to, M0, M1, M2, M3, M4. So the balances, customer balances are, as on the base month is 15. The budget for the month is the first row, where every month there is a fixed budget that has been allocated. Customers that are mapped currently to the base month, these are the values. So the base month values for my customers are 15. What are the additions that I have done? The incremental business that I have included for my existing portfolio customers is the table B, the row B. So today, if you were to see, after I've taken over my portfolio, after the portfolio has come to me, I have grown the book from 15 to 16, which means my incremental achievement is 1, right? And that's how month on month your achievements would be calculated. So you have the base month values and you have the current month values. Has there been an incremental increase or has there been an incremental decrease in your customer balances is what they are checking. Yeah. And for clarity, they have also shown the mapping of the customer. So whenever there is an addition in the customers in the portfolio, the previous month of the customer, the previous month's balance becomes the base month. Whenever there is a deletion, the deletion would be basis the base month that we see. For example, if you see C1 has got added to the customer, to the RM's portfolio in the month of April. So C1 के लिए base month March हो गया. C2 addition has happened in the month of June. So the customer's balance in the previous month May becomes the base month. But let's say in case of C2 subsequently in September got deleted, right? So when I say there is a deletion, the deletion values also will be checked as against the base month. So base month for C2 was the month of May. So the deletion values would be basis the month of May. So that is the depletion that we will see has happened in your book for your ETB balances. Is there clarity?
Could you
Any
explain this
questions?
once more, please? Yeah, could you just explain this once with this addition and deletion, please?
So any kind of addition, if the customers, for example, the customer is an existing book who has got upgraded into your portfolio, right? So the addition has happened in the month, for example, in the month of December, this customer has got added to your portfolio. Now, because he's an existing customer, it is an ETB book that we are talking about, right? ETB accounts are accounts that have been in the system for some time. As on 31st March, these customers were holding accounts with you. So today, when the addition is happening in the month of December, what we will consider as the base month for this customer would be the November balances. So once the account comes to me every time to see how much has the account increased, the November balances would be the figure that I will be checking. So balances in the customer book, has it increased from the November balance or has it decreased? Understood? Incremental increase or decrease basis the base month.
Right.
Shashwati?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
And
thanks.
what is this initial mapping?
When the mapping has happened, when has the customer been mapped to you? Initial mapping. The first time the account gets mapped to you.
Okay, and when the RM joins in, so as you said that if the RM has joined in the month of April and the book is mapped to him on in the month of May.
Ah,
So what will be the MDEB? What will be the ETB book size? Which
April
month?
balances would be the balances that would be considered because you got your book in May.
Uh-huh.
So the immediate previous month is April. So
Okay.
all customer balances, we will check for the incremental increase or decrease basis your April balances.
Okay, and these additions means the upgradations.
Anytime any new account that has come into your portfolio, the previous month would be considered as the base month. So the
Okay.
value of the customer account balances would be always be basis the base month concept.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
But then you said the budget will start from June. Like suppose someone has joined in April and the
Yes.
portfolio is allocated in May, the budget will start from June.
The budgets will start. So once the book has been allotted to me, and here again, the finer point of difference is when the budget gets allotted to me. For example, if it has got allotted to me, I have joined in April, the budget has got allotted to me on 5th of May. अगर ऐसा है, if the allotment of the portfolio has happened within the first 15 days, then the current month also will get considered. So my budgets will and I will have to, my targets will start immediately from the next month. But let's say the budget has, the portfolio has got mapped to me on the 16th of May. So the following month becomes the month from where my calculations will start.
Okay, so it depends if it's before the 15th of the month, that means it is from the same month that the budget calculations will start. And if it is after the 15th of the month, it is from the next day that my performance will be calculated.
Correct. But nonetheless, irrespective of if it is before 15 or after 15, the previous month would be the base month for my customer balances.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. So that was the existing book. We also have the NTB book, the NTB CASA, the accounts that have got opened in this year. And here again, like I said, it will be a mix of accounts. Those which I personally opened after taking over or becoming a relationship manager, and those which were opened in the interim between April and till now. You know, those accounts that have got opened by people, previous RMs or maybe others in the system, so on and so forth. So here the logic is you get 100% credit for the balances as long as you are the lead closure. So MDAP values 100% value credit will be given to you as long as the LC is yours. If it is sourced by someone else, then only the incremental business credit will come your way. So for that, to highlight it or explain it better, there is that sample example that has been given, where depending upon when you have joined, the previous month becomes the base month for all practical purposes, right? So if an RM joins in the middle of the year, the incremental business is what will be considered from the base month that of the portfolio allocation. So today, if the base month is the previous month, from that balance, how much is the incremental increase or decrease? That is your performance, right? For accounts that are being sourced. Now here, what we also would want to say is, whenever someone else is sourcing an account, so let's say a sales executive went and opened an account, the month zero credit for the balances goes to the person, and I get the credit only from the following month. That is from the next month. And that is what we have explained in the form of a scenario here, the other sourced account, right? If you see case one and case two, for example, if a BDE or a sales executive has sourced an account and that account was opened with a balance of 2 lakh, so the sourcing credit goes to the sales executive. The balance credit also goes to the sales executive on the sourcing month. But for the following month, because it's a priority account, it would get mapped to you. Once it gets mapped to you, we will see how much is the incremental increase in the customer balances. So from that 2 lakh, let's say if the balance has moved to 3 lakh, you get a credit of 1 lakh. If the balance has moved from 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs, you get an incremental credit of 3 lakhs. That is where my credit as an RM will come to me for accounts that have been passed to me or mapped to me. Similarly, there could be a situation where balances have depleted. Instead of 2 lakhs, which the customer opened, the balances have fallen down from 2 lakhs to 1.5 lakhs. Then the month one balances, the deficit of 0.5 lakhs, that is the 50,000 deficit that I see, that will not impact me in the month one. Understood? Any issues?
Vidya,
Hmm.
can you please just repeat this case one?
Yeah. So case one, what has happened? What does case one say? That the account has been opened by someone else with a balance of 2 lakhs. Account opened by a sales executive in the month of April
April. Hmm.
with a balance of 2 lakhs. Account opening month is April,
April, yes.
correct? Now what they are saying is, this account will be passed to me in the following month. The
May.
month, yeah, in the month of May. And what has happened in the month of May? Balance increased from 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs.
Okay.
Correct? That is the example one. So what is the incremental difference that we see?
3 lakhs.
3 lakhs. That is
Hmm.
the credit that I will get.
Okay, credit I will get, but in case it gets depleted, then
Which is the
it will
second
not affect.
example? Which is the second example? Wherein a 2 lakh rupee account has depleted and has gone down to 1.5 lakhs.
Hmm.
Correct? So here the balance has become negative because 2 lakhs is my base value for this customer account. And here the balance from 2 lakh has become negative 0.5 हो गया है. 50,000 कम हो गया है.
Yes.
Correct? हाँ
Yes.
ना?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So in this case, there will not be any impact on my portfolio because this account was not sourced by me. It was mapped to me. Correct? So any
Yes.
kind of incremental increase, I will be able to claim credit. Any kind of deficit because of account sourced by someone else and mapped to me, it will not hit me.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
But
Yeah,
this again can cover you till how long? Only for M1.
M1.
Once
Yes.
the account is my portfolio, once it has come to me, then I become responsible.
Okay, okay.
So from the following month, what they will see, what is the difference between 2 lakhs and what is the current balance?
Okay.
Because
Thank
now it has already been given to you. So now you need to start working on those accounts. Understood?
अंजू अंजू
Yes, yes.
नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है. First
Negative
month.
marking नहीं.
Negative marking temporarily nahi hai.
हाँ,
So
उस
that,
फर्स्ट मंथ के लिए
don't
नहीं है,
assume
फर्स्ट
that it's not going to
नहीं
be
नहीं
there for the
फर्स्ट
whole year.
आई वाज वेरी क्लियर, फर्स्ट मंथ के लिए
हाँ,
नहीं है बोला मैंने.
yeah,
हाँ,
yeah. So any kind of deficit for account sourced by someone else, that impact will not be there currently. But once the account gets transferred and mapped to you, then you will have to be responsible. And then month on month, the incremental is what they will see for NTB accounts. Now, for NTB, there is also a clear-cut clarity that which are the scheme codes for which they will receive credit. So those are the scheme codes that have been lined up on the first line of the slide, are the various scheme codes for which the RM will get credit. Let's say someone tells me that I want to open an easy account or a prime account or any lower variant account. If I do and open the account and I put my LC, I will not get the credit. As an RM, I have been hired under the priority segment to open priority accounts or equivalent to those kind of accounts. So there are set of specific scheme codes which will give me those business credits for account opening. Any account variant which does not fall into this segment, I will not get the credit. Clear? So those are the various scheme codes of Axis Bank where the RM will get credit for the MDAP. Yes,
so
no.
when you go to the market and try to source an account and you find the profile of the customer is not a priority bank client, then you would basically pass on the lead to the lower team. That's what you're trying to say, right?
It is okay. It doesn't hurt you if you pass on the lead to
Ah,
someone
that's
else
okay.
because any
That's
which
fine.
ways,
Anyway, you're not
even if
getting the
you do,
credit for
yeah,
that,
you are not
right?
going
So
to
you might
waste
as
time
well
over
pass
it.
on that.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Yes. Now, current account sourcing is allowed. There's a lot of confusion among RMs whether current account का credit मिलता है, नहीं मिलता है, so on and so forth. So current account sourcing is allowed and current account में 100% आपको तभी credit मिलेगा if you do the entire documentation, you put it in the system. A lot of times RM reach out to the current account team and they do the documentation and close. तो आपको credit नहीं मिलता है. You get only 50% credit. That is one. Second, current accounts also have to be grouped in the priority family, which means I would need to ensure that all the current accounts are included into the family grouping. See, as an RM, my core responsibility is opening savings account, priority savings account. But a lot of my priority customers are also managing businesses. So I am open to opening current accounts as well. But I do not want a scenario where I'm only holding the current account of the customer and no savings account. That's why the grouping becomes important. Current account credit will come as long as it is grouped into the priority family.
So do you have a situation where the customer's personal stuff is getting taken care by the priority RM and the business is getting taken care by the current account team, RM?
No, that should not happen because you should be
Uh,
the only one and sole point,
Got it.
single point contact for the customer.
Yeah.
Unlike which happens
Yeah.
in different competition banks where my size handled by one RM and my car piece is handled by different RM,
Right,
we would
right.
want a single point contact for the
Okay.
entire liability relationship of the customer. That's
Yeah.
why we want RMs to do the current account fees also
Absolutely.
completely on their own.
Yeah, it makes sense also. Now, I see the sourcing is the most difficult part. Documentation is the easiest part you can have. So if I'm able to source the account, I just put that put an extra efforts and complete the documentation and put the accounts on the system. I'll get the
Correct.
full credit instead of just 50% credit I will get if I pass it
Correct.
on.
And
Right?
secondly, you get credit from month zero, right from
Exactly.
day one. You
Yeah.
don't have to
So,
share credits with anyone
yeah.
because what happens is, let's say someone opens, for example, Sundar took my help, I opened the account. The customer opened with a 10 lakh check. तो वो 10 lakh का credit मुझे मिल रहा है. You are not getting any
Yeah.
credit for that. You will get
Correct.
the credit once the account gets tagged to you, mapped to you. So वो
Absolutely. Yeah.
mapping होने के बाद, and उसमें problem क्या है? Mapping में 10 lakhs आपका base हो जाएगा and उससे सुंदर ने कितना incremental increase किया, that would be always your
Yeah.
the business that you have brought in.
So we basically encourage them to do their documentation part as well, so they get the
Even for
100%
current
credit for
accounts.
the. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I'm talking about current account here, right? All right, ठीक है.
Vidya,
Yeah.
Regarding mapping it under the priority family, suppose a current account, all types of current accounts, whether it's a private limited, partnership, proprietorship, everything can be mapped under the priority family?
Yes. Yes. Other than
Okay.
trust associations, we can map private and this public limited nahi hoga, but
ठीक
all
है.
the other
Private.
constitutions can be handled.
Okay, right. Thank you.
The third KRA is the incremental TD KRA, where we are talking about that in the customer. Today,
Vidya,
the-
sorry,
huh?
Vidya. If you could just go back to the earlier page. Carry 2.
Yeah.
No, yeah. This example of here, don't we need to explain it to them?
Yeah, sorry, I missed it. Yeah, so let's look at this example. Here, what we are saying is, again, budgets have been predefined. I have sourced a set of accounts, so that is totaling to 12. There are certain accounts that has been tagged to me, so that is, let's say, coming to 4. So my total achievement for the month will be accounts sourced by me and accounts that have been mapped to me. So that would be the total account, that would be the total achievement for the month. So like that, balances would be checked, your achievements would be checked for the months of the year, and whatever is your March achievement would be considered as your NTB CASA achievement for the year. That is what we are trying to highlight here. That in case of NTB accounts, month on month, you will have a situation where you are also opening accounts and accounts are also getting tagged to you. Both of them will count as your achievement for the month, and those will be checked against the budget, and depending upon whether there is a positive or a deficit, appropriately the NTB CASA will be decided, for the values will be decided for you.
Vidya, this 99 and 142, that is the March figures, right?
Yes.
So that
So your
means,
YTD achievement is your March figures, the March values that we see in your NTB CASA book.
okay. Okay. So that would basically be a cumulative amount only, more or less. Should be, yeah.
Yeah, because month on month, you will have
Because
to
that's a
ensure that
balance.
balances are there, na?
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
parameter
yeah.
of CASA balances. So you would want to make sure that month on month your books are, unless your
So
all your
actually,
customers, huh?
now I'm saying actually the monthly achievement percentage till February, those figures really do not matter as such.
But you will not be able to convince all your, let's say, 300 customers to keep balances for the month of March. No, if you are not able to convince them for all the other months, how
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
going to
true.
convince the customer to keep it for that particular month? Any which ways,
Yeah,
your
I'm just saying
performance, huh?
but in terms of calculating the achievement percentage, I'm saying there
Huh?
it doesn't matter. But yes, of course, if I have to achieve it in March, those figures will be important.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
They will get quarterly incentives as well, right?
Yes, quarterly incentives for the performance that they show.
Yeah, that there you're correct, Anju. There it will matter, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any further questions? Okay. So this is the TD piece, where we are saying that as long as the customers, like how we saw in the balances, similarly TD balances will also have, the portfolio gets allotted to you. The base month TD values will be checked, and whatever is the incremental increase we see in your TD book, that becomes your TDM DAP. So today when we talk about incremental TD here currently what we are saying is whatever is the increase that we bring or see in your TD book would be counted as your incremental achievement in your TD values. What we want you to do is understand that there is a whole focus of liabilities, and liability is your maximum KRA. Axis is also holding the advantage of giving very, very competitive TD rates as compared to competition banks. And that is something that we would want to leverage when maximum of our customers also going for TDs with us. So like we would want to focus on the savings and current account balances. Similarly, we would want you all to focus on TD balances as well. And here again, we have given an example that how whatever is the base month balance, whatever is the incremental that we see, the difference would be the one that would be taken as your performance for that particular month. So you have a budget of 0.5. The base values for your customers are 15. You have managed to increase the balances to 16. So 1 is your achievement for the month. So the logic is the same for be it your savings or your current account, your ETB or your NTB.
We can't see the example part, the figures that you just quoted.
The slide is, it is on slide share mode. Can others confirm? Is the slide not visible?
No, it is partly visible. That sample dummy budget, that's what you're reading it out from?
Huh?
KRE 3? I don't know. I can just see the first 2
One.
rows.
Is it?
Vidya, the example you shared is there on this PDF, or you have shared it on your own?
No, that it is what is reflecting on the slide, no?
Can't see that.
You can't see KRA 3 is what you're saying?
No, we can. Sorry. Yes, Anshu, continue. Sorry.
No, please, you continue.
No. I'm saying KRE 3, we can see. What we are seeing is, it, there is KRE logic, then there is month of portfolio allocation, and where the sample dummy budget comes in the example, there we can see only the first 2 rows, 10 to 20 crores.
Let
Anshu,
me
is it
reshare.
that?
Let me just stop share and share it once again. Give me a minute. Maybe it has got.
ये कितना मैथ्स जैसा है. I feel like drinking tea. है ना?
हाँ, बहुत मैथ्स है ये.
बहुत ही मतलब. And we
Does
are not
this?
working in a bank, then also we have to go into so much of maths.
Is it visible?
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
stop share
Yes.
and again share the slide with you.
Visible.
Yes, yeah, we can see this now.
Yeah.
This is something different. Okay, yeah.
The example, are you able to understand the example as well? The first example, where you have a budget of 0.5.
Yes, this is what you're explaining, right?
Yeah. Any confusion here?
If you could please explain it once more, I think we lost it somewhere.
All right.
We
So
don't
you
mind.
have the budget for the months that have been highlighted there. Your existing map book values are currently A, which is your base month values for your TD. So TD balances are at 15 currently. At the end of the current month, I have improved my TD balances from 15 to 16. So my incremental achievement would be taken as 1 for the month M1. And these incremental achievements are checked vis-a-vis what the budget is. For example, for the month of M1, when I have an incremental achievement of 1 as against a budget of 0.5, I have done well. Whereas, let's say in M2, I have a deficit in my TD book. I was supposed to do 1, but I have a deficit of -2. So that is how we are checking. Whatever is the base month values vis-a-vis what is the current month performance and how is it impacting or reflecting as against the budgets. And your YTD achievement is the summation of your monthly achievements of how your book is performing. Your TD book specifically is performing. So that is your KRA 3. How much incremental TD business is happening in your book. Is that clear?
When you're saying static budget, it means that because that budget is not changing, that's why you're saying the static budget?
That's correct.
And all these, I'm going to ask you a very silly question probably. All these are in crores actually, when you're talking of 0.5, 1, 2.
It is not necessarily in crores because these numbers are an indicative. It is a sample. It would vary from RM to RM. The budgets that are there, depending upon the location, depending upon the portfolio.
No, I'm saying
So
in
this,
this example, if I'm looking at a previous month and MDB or portfolio allocation M0 is 15 crores is what I'm looking at, right?
why would you want to say it? We just say it as
Okay.
15.
Okay. No, if someone asks me, I'm just understanding, trying
Acha,
to
okay,
understand.
okay. Yes.
Vidya, how do you explain this minimum daily average balance in a term deposit? I can understand if it's a savings or a CASA account, we have the concept of monthly average daily balance, right?
Correct.
So how do you
Yeah.
explain in the term deposit? Term deposit is a term deposit. It's not. How do you explain that? I'm just a little confused over there.
So that is the value. So today, when we talk about the values of your TD book, we are looking at the values what are seen in the portfolio. So today, if I have to say that this is the balances in your base month, we would take it as the terminology that we use is monthly daily average balances even for your TD. Because today your TD can be created at any point in time, broken at any point in time, at any given point in time. What is the TD values reflecting in your book at any point in time?
Yeah, oh, and these also partial withdrawals features,
Yes. So when we look into the TD
all
portion,
right, all right, got
there
it, got
there
it,
are a
got it,
lot of
got it.
benefits on the TD piece also.
Yeah, got
Because
it, got it.
today the partial the access has the advantage of premature penalty being waived if the TD stays for a particular tenure. Today, if the customer is making a fresh TD, then that business can come into your credit. So as of now, there is a mix of open and closed architecture. Like today, for example, when you're talking about books or when you're talking about revenues and business, if even if the customer is not mapped to you, but if you have an LI policy or if you have done if you've generated a revenue through, for example, an LI or a GI, you get revenue credit for the same. The same applies even for a TD. If the customer didn't have a TD, but basis your this, if the customer has gone in for a TD, then that TD values would get mapped to you. You will get credit for the same as long as the customer is mapped to your portfolio. So you would want to make sure that we would want to leverage every opportunity, every edge that we have, even in case of TDs. So a lot of your customers are holding TD books, existing TD customers. You would want to make sure that you would want to increase the balances even in the TD book.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Okay.
So
Vidya,
this is what we are. Huh?
this static budget row. So do we have to calculate this or
No,
it is
this is
calculated by the
predefined. It will be given to the RM. What is the budget for the month?
okay, okay, okay.
They will also know what are the base values or the base month figures for their customers. So let's say if I'm having a TD book, I will know Anju has a account, TD account with us. Anju's TD balances as on base month is this. Now,
Okay,
whatever is the difference that I bring in is what I get credit for.
okay, okay.
So the
Yeah.
base month is also fixed.
Yes. So basically, RM has to work on this.
The incremental.
Yeah, the increment.
Incremental is
Yeah.
where your performance comes into play.
Done. Thank you.
Vidya, could you explain the closed architecture and open architecture ones? TD is closed architecture, right?
TD is currently there's been a slight change here. TD is supposed to be a closed architecture for the customers that are mapped to you. But at any point in time, let's say an RM is able to source an account of a customer who did not have a TD in the previous month, then the credit will come to you. And that is what we are trying to tell you.
Though the account is not mapped to me.
Yeah, you will be able to get credit for the same.
Okay.
As long as the customer didn't have a TD in the previous month.
And that account
Let's say
necessarily.
if the credit, no, hear me out, let me complete. So let's say I have an account and I have a TD as well. Okay, so I have a TD, I have an account, and you have sourced an additional TD from my customer. You will not get credit for the same. It is a closed architecture here. Why? Because it's an existing TD customer and the customer has taken an additional TD. So it is a closed architecture. Whoever is the RM mapped to, that person gets the credit because the customer's TD was there as an existing product line. But let's say the customer didn't have a TD at the previous month, and only because of you the customer has opted for a TD, then you get credit for the same.
Right. Okay. And
Yeah, so
this
that is what we
customer.
are trying to show in the form of an example. As long as the RM sources the TD from within his book, by default, the credit will come to you. If the customer has an existing TD and an additional TDs are being opened, the default credit goes to the RM to whom the customer is mapped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We go for KRA 4, which is the CASA NOA points. And here, what we are talking about is both savings and current account points. We would want to reiterate that please go all out and source savings as well as current accounts as far as possible. Current accounts, the only requirement is it needs to be grouped in the family. And in case if you are giving the current account lead to someone else, then you should be ready that you'll get only 50% credit for the current account. So that is what is the understanding here in terms of CASA NOA points. We also have the benefit of the multiplier. Today, when we talk about accounts, we would want account opening is the first connect that a customer has with a bank. Now, this connect needs to be as smooth as possible for the customer. We would want to make sure that the entire onboarding journey for the customer is as smooth and error-free as possible. And that's why we would want to promote the digital journeys. And that is what we are talking about here when we are talking about the account opening through VSIP and BYOD. VSIP is online account opening, where through video KYC, the account is getting opened. BYOD is bring your own device, wherein through you go to the customer account, you scan the documents, you open the account. So that is the BYOD process. Now, both these processes have an edge as compared to the physical filling of forms and the documentation piece. So if your accounts are open through VSIP and BYOD, and you have the advantage of funding also. So today, if the requirement is 2 lakhs and you open the account with twice the IP values, you have the funding multiplier also. We will be seeing it in the coming slides as well, how these things can multiply or add on to the points that you're making on the same account. What is important here is whenever you're opening accounts, before the account gets set up in the system, you need to do a CRM entry, so that before the account is live in the system, the CRM entry is done, and then the entry can be closed saying that, I opened the account in the system. If the CRM entry is not seen, or if the lead entry is not put in the system before the account gets opened, then the credit NOA points credit will not come to you. So it is imperative that RMs also put in the lead entry before the account actually gets opened in the system. And there are certain additional points here in terms of whose accounts will be counted. So it has to be a new customer ID or the first time primary savings account of the customer for the NOA point credit to be received by the RM. If it is an existing customer ID, the RM will not get any points. NOA point credit will not come to him. Similarly, if it is an account that has got closed in the last calendar year, that is FY 21-22, or in this calendar year, and again a new account has got opened within the same year, the RM will not get new account sourcing points. NOA point credit will not come to him. So there are certain conditions basis which the NOA points credit will come to the RM. Main points which the RM needs to remember is A, it has to be a new customer ID. If it is an existing customer ID, then it has to be the first time savings account that the customer is opening for an existing customer ID. It has to be an account wherein the account should not have got closed this year or last year and the account is simultaneously open. उसमें भी NOA points का credit नहीं मिलेगा. Any account opened by you and subsequently down migrated or up migrated hota hai, तो again the NOA points will get revoked, which means we will take back the NOA points in the final calculations. So that is the importance of your NOA points. And these are new savings account, current accounts points that you are receiving for the new accounts that you open. The budgets are predefined. Whatever is the points that you achieve for the accounts that you open is the achievement for the month. Yeah.
So Vidya, it means that we have to, as a priority RM, we need to stop our client, to put too much balance in his account, else it will get up migrated and I will not get credit for it.
No, but then how will you meet your MDAP values? If you don't put balances in the account, you will never be able to achieve your KRAs. Now, if you see your summary of your KRAs, your ETB CASA MDAP and your NTB CASA MDAP has 15% and 10% weightage. आपके अगर आप फंडिंग नहीं कराओगे कस्टमर अकाउंट्स में तो आपकी वो वैल्यूज KRA मिलेंगी ही नहीं आपको.
नहीं मिलेगी, but then we have to stop the customer from, pouring in too much of funds, else he will get up migrated to Burgundy.
Up
Nahin?
migrated to Burgundy is always with the consent of the customer, na?
Okay.
I don't by default up migrate. I always give the choice to the customer. Similarly, down migrate भी by default नहीं होता है ना. Let's say Anju is maintaining a balance of, let's say, 5 crore or maybe 50 lakhs, which is a Burgundy proposition. I speak to Anju. Anju receives a letter from the bank that your account is likely to be up migrated. You are eligible to move into the Burgundy program. But the choice will be for Anju. Na? She has to decide whether she wants to go into the Burgundy program or not.
Yeah, but Vidya, what we're missing here is that anybody would like to upgrade into a better
Yes.
program,
Correct.
right?
So
So
if that
if
is
I
the
say
case,
that,
if that is the case, that is
consent only,
precisely
na?
what we are saying. If we
Customer
are
will
having
give the consent. Anju's
customers,
point is different. I mean, you are she is saying that the RM has an opportunity to deliberately disincentivize the client so that he doesn't move on to the Burgundy program. That's what. If you ask for the customer's consent, of course he will give you the consent because the benefits are much more in a Burgundy program.
at the end of the day, what Axis Bank is saying is the right customer should be in the right variant. So if there is a
Correct.
customer who is a Burgundy customer, it is an injustice that we are doing by holding him back into the priority
Absolutely.
program. He
Yeah,
must
absolutely. I
enjoy
agree
the
with you.
benefits of the Burgundy program. And that is precisely the reason I need to
Exactly.
have a sufficient balance and sufficient number of accounts in my portfolio that agar mera ek customer up migrate ho bhi jata hai, it should not hamper me because I am not dependent on just one customer. As an RM, I need to have the maturity to understand that as well, that up migration, down migration will keep happening.
Acha, does the RM then get some benefit if the relationship through his own efforts get upgraded to the Burgundy program? Is there any points assigned to him? Then there is
No,
incentive for the
no
RM.
such, no such
it's not there.
incentive.
होना
So,
चाहिए ना
no,
तो अगर
no
ऐसा होगा
such,
तो then
no,
I mean the priority bank RM is not at a disadvantage, right?
no. Because
It
why?
will
You
not.
get the same advantage when you have a lower variance moving into priority also,
Hmm.
no?
Yeah,
True,
but
true, true.
I know
So it
that will
works both
happen.
ways. It works
I
both
know it
ways.
works. Yeah.
सर थोड़ा फ्री का भी तो मिल रहा है ना, तो देना भी तो पड़ेगा.
हाँ वो भी है.
Yeah.
कुछ
Yes, we
कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ेगा.
Actually, Vidya is right. We didn't ask the same question when she was saying that it will get added, it will get added. Automatically it will get added. हमने तब तो पूछा नहीं.
अंजू मैम सेल्फिश मत बनो, आपको थोड़ा खोना पड़ेगा थोड़ा.
सर अब तो छोड़ा है, वो गलियां RM थे, अब तो नहीं है.
Yes.
Vidya,
All
what is
right.
VSIP?
Sorry?
VSIP?
VSIP is through video KYC.
Video
The
KYC.
customer sitting at home, the customer opens an account. So that is the VSIP process.
Okay, and in BYOD, the RM
BYOD, the RM goes, visits the customer, and then takes his, photograph, scans the image, and using the mobile, the account opening process is completed.
Clear. Thank you.
All
There is
right.
just one
So
point I
here,
had.
yeah.
We said that. I mean, this refers basically to the previous slide, but you don't have to go back. If a priority bank RM, gets a current account and it is opened by the current account team, so he gets 50% credit, right? Now, this 50% credit is only for that particular month. The subsequent upgrades which will happen in the account, he's not going to get benefited from that for subsequent months, right?
No. Please, let's yeah, multiple points you're bringing in. What we are discussing is KRA 4, which is the account opening sourcing ke
I'm not
points
referring
jo
to.
de rahe.
I'm not referring to 4 at all. I've
Acha.
gone back to the previous one. Okay, a current account is being sourced and by the current account team, so you get 50% of the
If I have
credit.
given it as a lead to them.
Yeah, as it, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
but the 50% credit is only for that particular month I'm getting. For the subsequent months, if the account gets upgraded and it becomes a super
No,
current
you're
account and
mixing.
all, I
You're
will not get.
mixing. You're mixing.
Okay.
Sundar.
Ah, full.
50% is the point credit that I'm getting for the opening of that account.
Okay.
The
Okay.
balance credit I will get only from M1, month 1, once the account gets mapped to me. The MDAP credit. The MDAP credit is different. Point credit for account opening is different.
Understood.
Clear, na?
Okay. Okay. Let me process it. Okay, fine.
So here, NOA points is purely how many points are you accumulating as sourcing credit for the month. So here, if you go down, I just wanted to take the slide down. 9 points are up for grabs for each account, which is eligible to be opened by an RM. So depending upon the scheme codes, you can get 9 points per account that you open. This 9 point will be cut to by 50% if it's a current account that you have passed on a lead to someone else. So 50% ही आपको मिलेगा for the accounts that you open. Otherwise, full 9 points का credit आपको मिलेगा. But this 9 points also is subject to certain conditions being completed by the RM, which are, for example, if it's a salary account, we would want the salary to get credited within the first 2 months for the entire 9 points to hold. If even after 2 months of opening a salary account, if salary credit is not seen, which is 1 lakh and above, then the customer will not get, or with the RM will not get the 9 points ka sourcing credit. The same applies when it comes to a domestic or a NR salary account, or for that matter, in non-salary accounts, the funding has to happen within 10 days of account opening with a value of 2 lakh and above. So let's say I open a priority account, but मैंने account opening check सिर्फ 1.5 lakhs का लिया है, तो मुझे वो CASA NOA points में credit नहीं मिलेगा. Or let's say the funding of this 2 lakhs came at the end of 14 days and did not happen within the 10 days of account opening, then again I will not get credit. So it is imperative for the RM to track the account opening and ensure the funding happens within those timelines for him to receive maximum points, which is the complete 9 points that are eligible for each of those scheme codes that he is opening. Am I clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So here what we are saying is, depending upon current account, the current account in a savings account, we are very clear that the customer is opening a priority savings account or a priority salary account. In a current account, there are different options for the customer to choose. The customer can choose any current account option from the given list of current account scheme codes. Now, what is important is when he or she is opening a current account, what is the value of the current account IP check that is being collected? So depending upon the value of the IP check collected and the funding that is seen in the account, the points are dependent. So I may be a priority customer wanting to just keep, let's say, 50,000 balances in my account. I can still go ahead and open and source the current account as long as the scheme code is okay. But if the value of the check collected is, let's say, in the range of 50,000 to less than 1 lakh, I will not get 9 points ka credit. I'll get only 3 points ka credit. And this is only applicable for current accounts, the funding that we see in current accounts. So depending upon the value that you see in the current account opening, the initial funding that we see in the current account opening, your points will be dependent. So in current account, LC 100% अगर आपको point credit चाहिए तो you have to be the LC. Second, whatever is the IP value of the current account that you pick, that will also decide what is the point that is given to you for that account. And the funding has to happen within 10 days of account opening. If you are able to get a current account with a 2 lakh and above check, then you get full 9 points. Clear?
Vidya,
Yeah.
in this, the scheme codes that CA, SEL, some of them, there are 4 of them, which is written NA, 5 of them, in fact. Yeah. So that means these accounts cannot be opened or will not be considered for, they can be opened, but will not be considered for this.
No, these scheme codes will be allowed. These scheme codes will be considered. But what is the value that you bring in terms of the IP check will decide the point credit.
Yeah, why is it written NA for Castle, SAPCA? That why is
so
it
current
NA?
account select, you can open with a nil account also. Zero balance select account आप open कर लो, तो आपको funding के NOA points का credit आपको नहीं मिलेगा. You might have opened a current account, but since there is no values attached, you will not get any point credit for the same. So when you're speaking to priority customers and you're sourcing priority accounts, we would expect that you also keep those balances and appropriately source those accounts. So even if a customer is okay wanting to keep a lower variant current account, it is fine by us.
Right, but you will not get the credit.
The credit will be appropriately compromised.
I understand. Yeah.
So why would I give a full 9-point credit to you? Because in a savings account, I give you 9 points when you source an account of 2 lakh and above, right?
Yeah.
So current account of source career for a lower IP, I don't mind. Bring the customer. We will include him, give him all the benefits of the priority proposition also. But for that account, I will give you credit, which is appropriately, I will reduce the point credit for the same.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is the NOA point credit parameter. Now, because we talk about deepening and improving the customer relationship onto the family accounts as well, that is the point credit that is available for family accounts. So for family accounts, the customer can open the account with a reduced IP of 50,000. So if a husband has an account and we are opening the accounts of the wife and children, the proposition itself says that you can open with a lower IP of 50,000 and above, and that is fine. Source the account with 50,000. We will help open the account. We will tag it into the family also, but the point credit will be only 3. But the same family member's account, if you open with a 2 lakh and above check, I will give you 9 points for the family account. Same logic as in the same of a current account. So if you want 9 points, you will have to get a check of 2 lakhs even from a family account. Otherwise, if you want to give the benefit to the customer, then family accounts can be opened with 50,000 also. What is important is that we need to tag it into the family program. Family banking tagging has to happen. The linking has to happen. And that's why the 3 scenarios which are mentioned, that as long as the funding happens and the tagging happens, you get full credit. If tagging gets left behind or you do not fund it within those timelines, no credit will be given for family banking accounts.
Done.
All right. Now, this is the multiplier that we are talking about. Now, every account we say can earn up to 9 points. One account, maximum you can earn is 9 points. But this is multiplied by 1.5 times if you use the VSIP mode, or 1.25 times the points if you choose the BYOD mode. Now, that is the digital points. So the same account, if I'm doing a physical documentation, I'll get 9 points. But I will get 1.5 into 9 points if I use it the VSIP mode, or BYOD mein 1.25. So the reason why we are promoting the digital mode is it is less error free and it's a faster process. So let's use this as an incentive for the RMs to earn better on the points on the sourcing that they do. Now here we also have the advantage of funding multiplier. which means if I'm able to get twice the IP check required for every account, I get a funding multiplier as well. However, it is subject to certain conditions. For example, the funding has to happen within the first 10 days. That is any which ways a given in case of a non-salary account. The balance check is the second check that we will do. So let's say I open the account with 4 lakhs. At the end of month 1, which is the next month, I would want to see a balance which is as per the proposition, 2 lakh and above. It should not happen that account opening मैंने 4 lakh से की, benefit ले लिया, but month 1 में account balance has gone down to 50,000 or 1 lakh. At the end of the following month, the balance should be 2 lakh and above. As long as these two things are maintained, I will give you 0.5, 1.5 times the point multiplier credit to you. So every account, I can maximize the points that I earn if I do the digital route or if I use the multiplier route in terms of funding. And that is what we have tried to highlight here. In case of priority accounts, salary accounts, again, in both the cases, we would want to make sure that the balances that we see in the funding check is 4 lakhs, that is twice the value of the proposition, and balance at the end of the first month is a minimum of 2 lakhs and above. So the eligibility needs to be maintained by the customers who are using a higher IP for funding. Clear? Any questions here?
No.
Okay for me.
Yeah, so this is also highlighted by way of an example. How in the physical mode you will earn only 9 points, but how through a VSIP mode with a multiplier effect, you can earn twice the number of points for the same account. मैंने account एक ही खोला है, लेकिन एक scenario में मुझे 9 points मिल रहा है, and in the other scenario for the same account, I earn 18 points. And how do I get that? By using the multiplier benefit and by using the digital funding, the digital mode for account opening. So those are the similar scenarios. So in the physical mode, regular mode में 9 मुझे मिला. Same regular mode में, if I use the multiplier, I get 13.5. Just by changing the IP value, by taking twice the IP value, I have moved the same account ka value to 13.5. Now, if I use the same value in the form of a BYOD, it moves to 11.25. And if I use the BYOD mein funding multiplier, I get 15.75. So those are the scenarios how the same account, the values will differ depending upon how the account is being opened and for what value the account is being opened.
So
Making
BYOD
sense?
is what is the difference between BYOD and VCIP?
VCIP is video KYC that we do, where the customer is at his home and we have an agent, a video RM who would be doing the account opening, the scrutiny, the checking. So you are at your home, you show your Aadhaar card, you show your PAN card, the conversation between the video agent and you will happen, and basis which the account gets opened completely online.
Right,
So
and
here
BYOD,
the RM intervention is not there at all.
and BYOD is where an RM
BYOD
takes
is when the
tab
RM comes over to your place, clicks the photograph of your PAN card and your Aadhaar card and fills up online all the details, the account variants and your other details. And that is how the account is getting opened, which is digitally. He is filling up
Right.
those details
So
online.
both are digital mode, but in one case I pass the lead to the VCIP RM to do it. RM or an
Yes.
executive to do it, right?
Executive to do it, yeah. So under VSIP, what happens is every RM का एक link बनता है, एक link which he then shares it with the customer. The customer opens that link, fills up the details himself or herself, whoever is the customer, on their own. And then once all the details are filled in, schedules a call with the video RM, and then the account opening happens online at the convenience of the customer, at the time of the customer, so on and so forth.
Right. Okay.
Vidya, when you're talking of video RM, it is basically the PBRM only, no? It's the same
No,
person, LC
no,
and
no, no,
LG.
no, it is not. It is not. The VSIP में जो
Oh.
account opening करते हैं, these are the video KYC agents who are separate.
Oh, okay.
So
But
what
then
I'm
that
using
means
is the link. I'm sharing my link. So I am the RM, Shashwati is the customer. I will share with Shashwati a link for account opening, which is my link. That's where the
But-
credit comes in. So this link is which will give me the credit. It is my link which I share with you. You open my link and you fill in your particulars. And after filling up your particulars and scanning of your forms, you fix up a timeline when you want to get the video KYC done with the agent. And on that time, the scheduled time, the video KYC agent will come, will check your, scrutinize your documents, ask you a couple of questions, and then the account opening process is considered complete.
so the LC and the LG both, LG and LC both are me.
Both are me because your link is unique to you.
Right. Take care. Oh,
The link
yeah,
is what
take care.
is
Thanks.
mapped to you.
Oh, okay, fine.
Vidya, any full form of VCIP?
Video.
Customer interference programs.
No. Just give me a minute. It is customer video.
It's video
Virtual
customer
customer
process.
identification process.
But this is a game changer. I mean, anybody who does like every RM should do VCIP to really get double of
Yes.
every score he is making.
Because it is faster also, no? There is
Yeah.
less stress on the RM. I get complete point credit also, twice the point credit which I would have
Right.
otherwise earned. And physical
Yeah.
mode is error prone also, subject to errors.
So I wanted to know, in case like just now we didn't know this VCIP. I mean, you knew obviously, but then when we get into some such word form which we don't know, then what do we do?
You will have to check. You'll have to ask me.
So you will be on the call while we are on training?
No, I'm saying in the TTT. Every
Yeah, in
session se
TTT.
pehle we'll be doing a
So
TTT, na?
if in a session probably we don't know, then what do we do?
You just
We say
take
that
time, say you'll come back to them.
Okay.
Vidya,
We don't have a choice, na?
Yeah. No, but since Axis Bank is also there, na, so I thought maybe they'll jump in and say that this is the full form. So that's why I was asking.
Again, we can't be saying that they will always sit through.
Okay.
That is as per their. Ji. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, in VCIP, you mentioned something about that agent. I mean, is he a different person?
It's a
I mean,
different person.
and why
It's
do
an
we need an agent?
independent person.
Why do we need an agent? I mean, if I can share the link directly with the client, and the client inputs all the details and uploads the documents, then
Yeah, but I also need to verify the genuineness, na? For example, when I'm in front of you, Sundar, and I'm scanning your documents, I'm also putting my verified with original, seen in original stamp and all. When it's a virtual process and I leave that on to you, I need to maintain the sanctity of the process as well, na? That there is a person called Sundar. So I need someone to verify that, vouch for that, that this was the person.
Normally, as I understand in video KYC, the provision is that the customer will show the original, PAN card, Aadhaar card, and
Correct.
on the video, and he will show it to you, and then you capture that.
Correct.
That and so you don't need an agent for to do all that stuff, right?
No, but we have a dedicated cell who's handling the video KYC.
Okay, so Axis Bank has got that. All right.
Axis Bank has that, yeah.
Yeah, but many banks don't even have that. I mean, they are directly dealing with the clients, and it can be done. The RBI provisions allows you to do that.
Correct. That's what. That
It's
is
okay,
the game
I
changer.
mean,
That's what we are saying. Yeah. But this is the process that is followed in Axis.
Yeah, no problem.
Right? Okay. So moving on. So this is KRA 5, which talks about fee income, which is comprising of IPG, OCS, and RFR. Like I said, IPG is your insurance mutual fund, OCS is your other cross sell, your loans and credit cards, RFR is your remittances and inward outward and your forex card business. So here what we are saying is fully fungible as long as you are able to achieve 80% out of minimum of 2 parameters, any of the 3 that has been given. So that is what the fungibility is, has been explained in these 3 case scenarios. In case 1, there are predefined budgets for IPG, OCS and RFR, and the RM has achieved 200, 140 and 30 out of each of these 3 parameters. Percentage achievement, IPG 200% achievement hai, OCS में 70 and RFR 60. Now fungibility is not achieved. 80% fungibility in 2 parameters is not achieved. So what happens? Your overachievement in IPG is brought down to 100. You need as an RM to ensure that you achieve 80% threshold across any of minimum 2 parameters. Otherwise, all your overachievement on one particular parameter will not hold any good to you. Let's see situation 2, case 2, where 80% achievement has happened in a minimum of 2 parameters. IPG I achieved 200%, RFR I achieved 80%. So whatever is the business that I have done, I get full credit for the same. So in the first situation where ideally my business achievement is 370, I was considered only as an achievement of 270. Whereas in the second situation, because I had 80% on two parameters, my total achievement of 380 was considered and taken in full as 380. And the third situation is the ideal situation where I have crossed 80% on all 3 parameters. So again, full business credit for the business that I've done. That is the KRA logic here, where we are not focused on any particular business, but I give an equal importance to all 3 aspects, be it RFR, be it OCS or IPG. Clear? The 3 examples.
Vidya,
Once again, what is IPG, OCS, and RFR?
IPG is where your insurance comes in, insurance mutual funds.
And
IPG.
OCS?
OCS is your, sorry?
Is it
OCS
written?
is other cross sell. The
And
abbreviations, RFR is retail forex and remittances.
Okay.
Vidya, the
Yeah.
third line where it says enterprise-wide cross-sell circular for point structure to be used to a point calculation. What is the meaning of this, please?
So there's a circular that gets released which talks about for each of these various points. For example, LI में कौन से LI के policy को कितना points है. So that detailing for each of those products are available in the enterprise wide cross-sell circular that gets published by the bank.
Okay.
So if you want specific कि कितने points मिलेंगे for what product, that clarity will be available in this circular.
Okay, right. Thank you.
And again, the calculation and the budget and achievement calculation, whatever is the achievement for the month is summed up for your YTD achievement. Right? Moving on. This is the customer engagement parameter where we are saying it is fully fungible across all 3 parameters, which is how many customers have you grouped under family, what is the product penetration, what are the number of new products that you have sold to the customer in this financial year, and the number of customers deepened. In the customer engagement parameter, there is no such benchmark achievement that you have to achieve. Whatever is the achievement of the RM, full credit is given because all the KRAs are fully fungible. So here to explain what each of these parameters are, this is the grouping parameter. What grouping says is you need to have a minimum of 2 customer IDs which can be grouped under family. So as long as there are blood relatives, you can group them under a family. For every new group that you create or for any customer that you add to an existing group, we will consider that you have done you have done grouping for the year. So that is what. But the important thing is that grouping has to happen from your side and it has to happen in this financial year. So that is the idea here. How many new? When I say grouping, it means that you would have brought in a new customer, you're mapping it into a family, and that is what the KRA is all about. How many customers have you grouped under family in this financial year? So if you were to look at the example, you have three customer IDs, C1, C2, C3, and there is a family ID which is F1. Now, C1 and C2 were already a family, and having a family ID in the grouping year was last year, financial year 22. For example, it can be a case where husband and wife held an account last year and they have been tagged under as a family F1. C3 is possibly, let's say, an example of a son whose account has got opened this year and has been tagged into this F1 family in this year. So the grouping here is important. When is the customer ID getting grouped? If it is grouped in this year, you get credit for the same. For example, in case 2, all three customer IDs have been grouped in this financial year. So you get credit for three customers grouped. In the third, you don't get any credit because it's an individual customer ID. I can't create a family ID. I can't, if there is no one else, so then the grouping will not happen. The grouping happens with a minimum of 2 customer IDs. Clear? What is grouping?
Yes.
Yes.
So, is there any separate form, Vidya, for grouping which
Yeah, there
RM
is an annexure that the customer fills up saying that grouping. Remember we talked about family banking accounts, 50,000 से भी हम account open कर सकते हैं. So वो वाले accounts में you have to fill the grouping form. Because otherwise every account that you open has to open with a minimum check of 2 lakhs. Only in case of family IDs, we give you the deviation of, opening with a reduced IP. And if you are opening it under the family banking mode, you need to fill up the grouping form also. Because I need to identify which family में ये family member include होता है. So those are the family IDs. The F1 जो code है, for example, hypothetical, F1 becomes the family code. So I know Anju needs to be grouped into, let's say, Vidya's family. So that is the code. So all members in Vidya's family will be under the family ID F1.
And if there are existing customer IDs, then also we can group them under one family ID.
Like in case 1, C1 and C2 are existing family IDs. तो वो फैमिली ऑलरेडी बना है, लेकिन वही फैमिली में अगर एक नया बंदा ऐड हो रहा है तो आपको वो सिर्फ नए बंदे का क्रेडिट मिलेगा. Existing family ID was already existing last year, right? So KRA 6 talks about how many new people have you grouped under family.
Got it. Thank you.
Right? Budgets and achievement. So there is a predefined budget. Whatever is the numbers that you achieve for the monthly budget is what is considered. Total of your monthly achievements will be your YTD achievements. Product penetration again, this is important because here what we are considering is what are the unique new products that you have sold. So what is important here is it has to be a fresh product. Like in case of a TD, I have a TD, you sold me a new TD. It is not a case of unique product penetration. Product penetration means new unique products sold by the RM in this financial year. So here again, we have explained it with an example, P1, P2, P3, P4. Some products that is P1, P2, P3 were already held by the customer last year. Additionally have been sold in this year will not be considered. What gets considered like in case 1 is only P4, which was never held by the customer, but went in by the customer or sold to the customer in this year. So in case 1, I get a credit of 1 product sold. In case 2, again, the customer has not been sold anything new in this year, so there is no credit here. In case 3, 3 new products have been sold which were not held by the customer previously, so I get credit for 3 products. Clear? Unique products sold.
Vidya, suppose I have already mutual fund investments, lump sum. Okay, I don't have a SIP. But now in this financial year, I start a SIP So would that be because it's mutual fund, would it be considered the same product or would it be considered a separate product, a SIP?
So
For mutual
here we
funds?
have certain applicable products which will be considered for this parameter. So
Oh,
let's say
okay.
if it is a SIP, it has to be for a value of 2000 and above. I didn't have a SIP earlier, but I am going in for a SIP this year with a value which is more than 2000. It will be considered as unique product.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay. So again, when you're talking of, okay, fine. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the products that will be considered for as unique products sold by the RM, and certain minimum thresholds which have to be considered for TD, RD, SIP and mutual fund is what are the amounts that are indicating.
And does this list keep changing every
No,
quarter?
for the KRA list is fixed for the entire year.
Okay, fine.
Questions? Others? Anju, Shilpa, Sundar?
This doesn't include general insurance. I can see life insurance
Insurance?
there. I can see life insurance there, but I don't see GI anywhere for new customer, new product penetration.
Insurance is both life and general.
But it
मिस
mentions life
मिस
here.
आउट
It
हो गया
doesn't
होगा
mention
सर. It
general.
must be there. It
Life
said 30.
insurance, general insurance, both are applicable.
Okay.
Yes? Okay. This is the count of ETB customers deepened. Every quarter, they will get a budget which will indicate how many number of customer accounts need to get deepened. So the count will be given to them and the value also will be given to them. So what we need to do is ensure that that many customer accounts deepening is seen in their ETB book. So this is the ETB count of customers whose accounts have shown a deepening. That is what we talk about here. So basically, again, the focus is that we would want to make sure that your existing book is being well handled by the RM. Balances are increasing, and that is what KRA 6.3 is talking about. Are we able to increase the balances for the number of customers that have been taken as the budget for the quarter? Yes?
Yes,
Any
yes, yeah.
clarity required here?
No, no.
So every quarter they will get a indicator from the head office that itne customer accounts mein deepening honi chahiye and basis these values. So that much if they are able to do, that will be taken as KRA 6.3, count of ETB customers deepened. The next KRA is insurance, WPC and net mutual fund sales. Here again, the fungibility factor talks about achieving 100% in your insurance budgets. As long as you achieve your insurance budgets, the entire book would be fungible. Otherwise, any kind of overachievement in mutual fund will not be considered if you do not achieve 100% of your insurance budgets. And that is what they have explained by these three examples. In the first case, budgets are 4, 5 and 4 for insurance and mutual fund sales. Achievement in insurance is only 80%, whereas overachievement in mutual funds is 150%. We will not give you the credit of 150% overachievement. We will cut down the achievement to your budget, which is 4. So instead of 6, instead of getting a credit of 11, the RM is getting a credit of only 8 because of non-achievement of your insurance budgets. In the second scenario, the 100% achievement on insurance has happened. So whatever is your performance, you get full credit for the same. And that is what case 2 and case 3 are talking about. Case 2, where you are meeting your 100% insurance budget. Case 3, where you are overachieving your insurance budget. So even if you have a shortfall in mutual fund sales, it would not matter. Like in case 3, there is only 75% achievement in mutual fund, but that is okay because the parameter says that you need to be 100% on insurance budgets. Clear?
Vidya, how is WPC calculated? How will they know what is WPC for any?
The insurance channel partner will tell them for every product what is the premium that will be taken as account.
Okay.
So product to product वो change होगा ना,
हाँ,
term
वही मैं
insurance
पूछ
में
रही
कितना
थी,
होगा
हाँ.
and all that. Yeah, so that their insurance this will count. But the parameter here says is whatever is the budget, they need to meet 100% of their budget for insurance. Others, questions?
No.
No question.
Yeah.
Shilpa
All
has
right.
question, I guess.
Go ahead.
No, no questions from my end.
We talk about the Triumph quality score, and this is you meeting your daily rhythm. So for an RM, the RM has to do 12 customer interactions on a daily basis. Now, every day, this is being tracked to check whether the RM is in a position to maintain his daily rhythm. So as long as he is maintaining his number of customer interactions, whether he is able to have those face-to-face connects, whether he is able to generate leads, whether he is able to do business, close business on a daily basis, all that is going towards his quality score, Triumph quality score. So here, as long as you maintain your daily rhythm, you will be able to score high on your Triumph quality score. And this score, this Triumph rhythm has a weightage of 12.5 on your total KRA. So 12.5 comes from your daily performance. What is the hygiene that the RM is maintaining in terms of meeting his customers on a daily basis, connecting his customers on a daily basis, generating his leads, and having sales closures. So budgets are again defined. Whatever is your achievement, basis your interactions with the customer, basis your closures, your lead generation, those will contribute to your quality score. Here again, what we are expecting is every RM should meet the benchmark of daily customer connects, daily lead generation, and daily closures. And basis the scores that come, you will lie in that bracket. So any RM who is doing 100% of what is expected from him will be in the MP++ category. Otherwise, your scores will be impacted.
So clarification here, Triumph is the name of their quality
Daily rhythm.
score.
Yes, that is the rhythm that
Nothing
they need to
else.
follow.
It's just
Yeah.
a name.
Yeah, it is
And
just the name.
and the daily feeding, like they are meeting so many clients, they are following up hygiene, etc., etc.
Yes,
They will
these
be
are
feeding it
captured in
in
an
the system.
application called Siddhi. All these daily interactions that they are having with the customer is captured in an application called Siddhi.
Which the RM feeds in, or the RM
Which the
head
RM
feeds.
feeds in on a daily basis. So
Okay, and
here
there
to
is no
just to give you an
authorizer to
idea,
authorize it.
uh,
Is there an authorizer who authorizes it, or whatever they feed
yes,
is
the
considered as
authorizer
fine?
is your reporting authority who
He
checks, not
authorizes the feed
authorizes, but
every
he
day.
will review. It is not
He will.
authorization, it is review. So today, if
Okay.
I am an RM, I need to plan in advance which are the 12 customer connects that I am planning for tomorrow. It has to be done in a pre-planned method. So one day in advance, I put in these are the 12 interactions that I am planning to have. These are the product discussions that I will initiate with each of these customers. These are the discussions that I have. And once these have been identified and put it into the system, I log it in today in the system so that my supervisor reviews what is my agenda for the day and gives me that feedback as well. That Vidya, is the plan okay? For example, maybe I have put in a discussion for credit cards and my supervisor wants to say that, have a discussion on insurance as well. So that is the review that happens on a daily basis between the RM and his reporting authority. And that is
And
the
the
Triumph
system is
quality.
called Siddhi.
Sorry?
And the platform where this is done is called Siddhi.
Siddhi. Siddhi is the application, the tool that you will use to put in those interactions. Similarly, tomorrow when I
And when
report to
does
work and I'm meeting those customers, the update will also happen in Siddhi only. So for example, I met Anju, I closed a deposit of 1 lakh fixed deposit. So I will put the interaction details that this is the discussion that I had, because yesterday only I would have decided what is the discussion on, what is the product that I will be speaking to Anju on. So maybe I spoke to you on insurance. Anju said, no, I need to wait for a month. So that is my response towards the product that was decided. And maybe there is a new product that I spoke to you, maybe a fixed deposit, which you were okay and I closed. So there is a closure that has happened on the same day. So all these interactions, the point-wise reverts that I'm doing in terms of planned discussions, unplanned, something that conversations that have happened, all that gets reported into Siddhi, including the leads and the closures as well. So today, if you say you are interested in a credit card during discussion, that is my lead for the day, which I will enter as on today into Siddhi. That basis the connect with Anju, one lead of credit card has been generated, and that lead will then go to the credit card team so that the credit card gets executed and issued.
And how
So
do I
this
get the
12
Triumph
customers,
quality score then?
Yeah, so that is showing you, no? So when we say that the RMs have to follow a rhythm, this is the rhythm that they are expected to follow. 12 customer
At the end of the
interactions.
month, it generates TQS, is it? I mean, Triumph quality score. Siddhi
Yes.
generates the score.
Yeah, basis your input and output that you show in the platform, your scores are calculated for Triumph. And
Vidya,
depending
this
upon your where your scores are, which percentage your scores are, that would be the rating that you will get for the Triumph rhythm that you are follow. So it is expected that you need to meet 100% every day. आप इतना जो काम करना है वो आप करोगे. For example, instead of 10, 12 interactions, if you met only 8 customers today, your scores will take a hit because you have done less than what was the benchmark expected.
so this
Right.
12 customers includes only ETB or is also includes NTB prospective clients also?
Everything. So
Okay.
12 customer interactions primarily would be your interactions that you are having with your customers. So what happens is the system throws out names by default, depending upon the kind of portfolio that has been allotted to you. So like I said earlier, every customer's potential has already been mapped in the system. So all your customers have been categorized into gold, platinum, bronze, silver, depending upon the holdings that they have with the bank and the potential that we see. So your platinum customers ka pop outs, Siddhi will give you those prompts. Meet these set of customers, and all Sundar needs to do is pick out which are the 12 that I need to connect with. Right.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you have
understand
the
that. Yeah,
options there.
that is only
So
for existing
today
clients, right? I mean, it will throw up only for existing clients, right? So if
it will
I'm
throw out for
engaging with a
existing
new client,
clients, but it doesn't mean that when I say Triumph needs 12 interactions, it can be a mix of ETB and NTB clients.
that is
So
what I wanted to know. Yeah.
what system is giving you is the option of clients to meet. You may meet as
Okay,
per
and
your,
that I understood. Yeah,
yeah,
fine. The system is basically helping you to qualify your interactions better,
correct.
right? That's what.
System will also
Fine.
prompt you what are the conversations you
Yeah,
can have with the client.
ठीक.
These are both physical as well as telephonic interactions,
Yes,
or only
face-to-face
physical?
interactions plus telephonic interactions should be 12. Minimum 3 face-to-face meetings you should have with customers. So out of 12, a minimum of 3 should be face-to-face.
Right.
Vidya, what is that MP? Which pool you told?
Merit pool.
Merit. Okay, okay, yeah.
Yes. So that is day 1. Any doubts?
Now doubts will be there tomorrow.
Once you process it.
I was just going to say that.
I understand. Yeah, but overall, I mean, now I think you will at least have an idea of how to correlate what those KRAs are or what the expectation is from the RNs. as long as they understand their KRAs, they will be able to work and they will be able to maximize the output. Sometimes these loopholes, these parameters, if not well understood, all the good work or the expectations then do not get met, and that's where the disappointment sets in and all that. As long as there is clarity, we can meet our KRAs and achieve our incentives is the message that we are trying to give them. Yes.
So this is the training for day one. So for every day you would be taking our such sessions before the training, is it?
That is what the agenda is, so that because considering Shashwati is an existing hand, other two, I mean, both of you all are relatively new, so it is better that we do it like every 2 days or something, so that you are in touch with the topic that you need to discuss. You also have a little bit of time to assimilate and understand what is it being said. If we do everything very early on, I mean, that is also fine. But then again, how much of it will be retained for the sessions to come is something that would.
Vidya,
Absolutely. Makes
uh,
sense.
Yeah.
Vidya, I have a question. Now that we have Siddhi as a platform, do you also have CRM as a platform?
CRM is integrated. The beauty of Siddhi is a lot of these applications have been migrated onto Siddhi. What Access has observed is there are too many IT tools, and each of these IT tools work with your own dedicated logins, password, and stuff like that. What they are
Mhm.
trying to do is streamline all the tools to make it simpler, so that there are lesser tools like Siddhi, which takes into account CRM भी ले लेता है. It also takes into account your processing like Saksham. अगर आपको statement भेजना है तो I can send it
हाँ,
through Siddhi. If
Saksham,
I need to
हाँ.
put in a lead, I don't have to log into CRM. मैं Siddhi में ही lead enter कर सकती हूँ.
But
So on and
CRM
so forth.
अभी भी है. CRM
CRM अभी भी
Saksham
है.
अभी भी है.
See, as of
Okay.
now, a hybrid model is being followed where the
Uh-huh.
old the Siddhi is not equipped to handle everything. We are
Okay.
still building that application. So it is
Okay.
work in process. So today, for example, if I have to sell products, there are only 5, 6, 7 products that can be sold through Siddhi online. जैसे RD हो गया, FD हो गया, these are things that I can immediately sell through Siddhi itself. All I need to do is just take the customer details. A customer gets an alert, an OTP, SMS confirmation, and immediately the product gets sold digitally. But I need to
Okay.
move all the cross-sell products onto the platform before it becomes, even before I can dispense off with the other applications. So that is what is
Okay.
being done.
Okay.
So for example, service
Okay.
request, I can do a statement, but maybe I can't do other complicated service requests, right? So till the time the others are not migrated, I might need the Saksham to process the service request
Okay.
of the customer.
Okay. Another question which I had was just remembering what I had taught in the earlier thing. Um, for BYOD and VCIP account opening, earlier, if I remember, I may be wrong, just correct me. They said that the lead CRM is not mandatory to capture the lead because there is some barcode, I think, which could take care of it. Is that, I mean, is it
See,
still
the VSIP,
valid?
like I said, is exclusive to the RM. Your
Huh.
link is very different from my link. So if
Huh.
my customer uses your link, the default credit comes to you, because
So I don't.
so you don't need to have a separate link. By default, the account gets credited. But what happens is it's always advisable to put a lead, so
Okay.
that at
Okay.
any given point in time, when there is a disconnect, when there is an issue, or when there are multiple stakeholders claiming credit for the same, I know for a fact that the lead entry was done. And that's
Okay.
why the thumb rule that all RM should by default follow is put in the lead in your name, which you can
Okay.
refer to, because after account opening, it's too late. And at any point in time, I can always go back and see that, okay, this was a lead that was put in by Shashwati. Because
Okay.
there could be a case that customers are not aware आपका link कौन सा है, मेरा link कौन सा है, right? And there
Bilkul.
could be
Bilkul.
such kind of disputes that might come, and that is where the CRM entry becomes very very important. Which of the two RMs ने ये customer की CRM entry की, and
Okay.
that adds weight to your list. So always
Right.
do a CRM, and that there's no harm in doing it. Takes only a few seconds to put in that lead in the system. But
Yeah,
because
makes
you have put
sense.
in the
Yeah.
lead, it will always stand to your credit, and any kind of such issues can be easily solved.
Right.
Shashwati,
Okay. Thank you.
just going
Thank
back
you.
to going
Yeah.
back to the point that you raised on Siddhi versus CRM. I think these are two separate platforms. CRM is more of a lead management process, whereas Siddhi, I mean, I'm not seen Siddhi, you know.
Mhm.
So, but in my view, it appears more like a business analytical tool, IT tool, than a CRM itself. So those are separate tools.
But
Not
Siddhi
Who's giving
really,
also
customer
Sundar,
insights? Who's
not
giving
really,
customer
not real.
insights?
Whatever
Siddhi
I mean,
also can
insights,
capture leads, no? That's what
yes,
she's saying.
Siddhi
no,
can
no,
capture leads. It
no,
can
no.
also give you insights. So
Uh-huh.
today,
So,
if I
yeah,
have
insights.
Siddhi,
They say insights are happening only because it is a analytical tool, right? Because CRM cannot give you analytical insights.
no, there
It can
can
only
be. There's a report functionality also in CRM, which is very actively used by RMs. It gives
does
me
it. No,
it
no,
gives me a
yeah,
360-degree view of the
yeah.
customer.
No, it gives you a view of the client, but the kind of insights that you derive by going qualitative insights I'm talking about by analyzing customer data, transaction data, and then you'll be able to put forward the suggestion that okay, look, the customer is buying these things, so you focus on selling a personal loan, stuff like that. That is kind of a business analytical tool. It cannot come from a CRM. It's a SaaS platform. All these things which work on banks.
So Siddhi is an amalgamation of all
Yeah.
these various tools.
So
So
more like that's a SaaS platform to me. I mean, you can always check it out later. But I mean, these are my views. I mean, I can be wrong.
So like I said, the road ahead is we reduce all the various applications and stick to a core application like Siddhi, which will be used by one and all, and one application which gives me all the solutions. Yes. Any other queries?
No, so you would be
Which
sending the
would it,
presentation today, right? And we would be
exactly.
going
Can
through
you,
it and asking you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yes.
and please send the recording also, if it's possible.
Yeah, Rintu will arrange for that and send it
Yeah.
across to you all.
So
Yeah, please
tomorrow
share the
morning, what
PPT
time would
with
we
you.
have this call again?
Again, yeah, that's something that we can discuss right away. When do you want to connect? Tomorrow morning?
I have class from 1:30 to 5:30 tomorrow.
So it has to be in the
1:15
first half.
preferably, if it's
10
okay with
o'clock?
others.
Yes, first half
10
for
o'clock.
Suits me.
suits me
Others.
well.
So I'll ask
Yeah.
Rintu to line up a call for 10 to 11:30. Will that do?
Yeah, 10 to 12 also would be good. I mean,
ठीक है,
my
so
class
10
is
to
only
12.
after 1 o'clock.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So we'll be discussing the same presentation tomorrow, right? We'll have to go through it and ask you questions, right?
We will be going on to day 2 tomorrow. In case if
Okay.
you have questions, you can reach out to me. Like I said, you have my name, you have my number.
No, I don't have your number.
I will
I
put it on
also
in chat. 1
yeah.
minute. Give it to me. I'll put it in chat as well.
And Vidya knows how much I've bothered her before the sessions.
वो last
I
minute
think
आता ही है ना.
You've got, it's been too long, Vidya, that I've not bothered you actually. I have to start again.
That's
छह
my
महीना हो
number
गया.
for those who don't know. But yeah, Sundar and Shashwati at least have my numbers. Yeah, Anju
And
and
let me tell you something, Vidya is the most helpful person that can be there. Most
you
helpful person.
so much. Thanks
Wow,
for
wow.
being a good motivator.
So we can log
All
out
right.
now, Vidya?
Yeah, we can log out. We will connect
Okay.
tomorrow, and I'll ask Rintu to put in those the details of the call for tomorrow, and link we will share it. Okay, and Shashwati, we might have to connect tomorrow to plan out the session for day
Yeah.
1, the
Yeah,
joint
sure.
sessions that we will be taking.
Hanji.
So that can be discussed offline separately,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
So we can do that maybe after post 5:30. It's okay with you, Vidya?
I will have to come back to you on the time because I'm having
ठीक
a
है.
meeting with Access tomorrow evening. Orientation
ठीक है.
भी है कल,
So
so
मेरा
all
खाली
that.
वही And as I told you, 1:15 I need to log in and I finish up by 5:30. So anytime before, after, as it suits you. Not a
So
problem for
morning
me.
तो we have this call for sure. तो
Right.
ये अपन कर लेंगे and
हाँ
day 2
जी,
का कर लेंगे. By that time we will forward.
ठीक है. Right.
Yeah.
ठीक है. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And bye
you.
to everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.